Alright, there is no doubt that our country has an issue with obesity. It's a problem that seems to never get better, and as a country we're constantly getting fatter. And as a result, our hearts are being damaged, and the #1 killer in our country is heart disease. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention states in 2009 an American died from a heart-related disease every minute. So with a statistic like this, I'm willing to bet most of you in here have been affected by somebody with a heart disease or will be in the future. There are thousands of causes for heart disease, but I'd like to focus on one that is a little more familiar to us all. Found in a lot of the things we eat, high fructose corn syrup is one of the fastest ways to ruin your health and ultimately cause obesity. So I'd first like to talk about what high fructose corn syrup is, abbreviated HFCS, and how it can harm your health, and I'd like to give you alternative things to eat that don't contain it and that will help you, live a better life. So high fructose corn syrup is, according to sweetscam.com, it's a syrup made from crushed corn that is liquefied. Then enzymes are added to separate the liquid into fructose and glucose. This is a weaker form of high fructose corn syrup that is used in baked goods and canned foods. A more stronger form is made, which we find in like soda, candy, and all kinds of desserts. It sounds like it's a harmless process, but if you look a little bit closer, you can see that it has harmful effects on your body. It is produced naturally, but it's still bad in comparison to real sugar. The main difference is that real sugar has 50% fructose and 50% glucose in its, is what it's made of. High fructose corn syrup has 55% fructose and 42% glucose, and 3% being other sugar molecules. Kevin Millard of Health Mad states that normal sugar enters the body, gets ingested, and causes the pancreas to produce insulin, which tells the brain that you are no longer hungry. High fructose corn syrup, it's digested the same way. It goes straight to the liver where it is turned into fat. But the problem with it is that it doesn't produce the same insulin that tells you that you're hungry. So if you keep eating it, you don't really get as full as you would if you ate real sugar. And that poses a lot of problems because it results in overeating. The Princeton University did a study on this with rats. They gave 2 sets of rats the same kind of food, but they filled their water with different ingredients. One had high fructose corn syrup, the other one had sugar. And sure enough, the rats that had the high fructose corn syrup got fatter. In fact, Princeton grad student Miriam Bocarsley commented on the test saying that these rats aren't getting fat, they're demonstrating characteristics of obesity, including substantial increases in abdominal fat and circulating triglycerides. In humans, these are the same characteristics that are known risk factors for high blood pressure, coronary artery disease, cancer, and diabetes. So you might ask, why do we see these in our products? Well, you look to the government for that kind of answer, because the U.S. government has imposed large tariffs on imported sugar, which has made corn a cheaper alternative and helped corn growers in the U.S. According to James Bovard of the Freedom Daily, the U.S. has been protecting U.S. sugar since the early 1800s. So it's nothing new to the U.S., and as a result, the foreign sugar growers like Brazil, they minimize their sugar export, and it causes it to be we have less in our country because we don't produce a lot of sugar because we're not a very tropical country like Brazil, so sugar goes up in price. Companies deal with this by either leaving the U.S. to produce their sugary products or using an inexpensive alternative like high fructose corn syrup. It isn't impossible to avoid eating it, even though it's found in a lot of food. The first thing you can do to avoid eating it is just read the ingredients. Typically, when you read the ingredients on a food product, you see that the most concentrated product is first, and then it descends in order from the amount that's in the product. You can avoid candy and desserts. Pretty much the best foods have a lot of sugar in them. But if you just read the label, you can see what has high fructose corn syrup and what doesn't. The most difficult ones to spot are found in like health foods, things that say diet on them, because even though they are diet, like I noticed that Yoplait yogurt, Special K, salad dressing, and even juices that claim to be 100% juice have this high fructose corn syrup. And unfortunately, one of my favorite things is I always thought a good alternative to regular soda was diet soda, but it's made almost exactly the same. In fact, it might be even worse because it contains higher amounts of high fructose corn syrup to get that same flavor that regular soda has. And yeah, artificial sweeteners like what you would sweeten your coffee with, like Sweet and Low and Splenda, those are also very high in HFCS. Another way to avoid it is just to know what doesn't have it and try to stay closer to those things. Like a lot of things made in Mexico and Canada are better. Like I like Jarritos soda, or even like Coke made in Mexico it tastes pretty good and it's made with natural ingredients. Lisa Bertline of Reuters says that Starbucks is one of the few large-scale companies to actually promote not eating high fructose corn syrup, and they've gotten rid of it in all of their baked goods, but not their other drinks. And they claim to have not raised prices either, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Pepsi came out with their throwback soda this past year, which was kind of an effective marketing device. They used their old logos and went back to the old ingredients, which was mainly just changing the sugar. They used real sugar instead of HFCS, which made it throwback, because that's how they used to make it. Sierra Mist is doing the same thing permanently, and Snapple is also following them close behind. Huge companies are investing tons of money in making these products natural, so it's obviously something important to the consumer. In my opinion, these products taste better. I like soda a lot better with real sugar than fake sugar. And so basically, to sum it all up, it is important to have a knowledge of what high fructose corn syrup is in order to avoid it. You shouldn't really let the government victimize you and shove these kind of things down your throat because it's cheaper and better for the farmers in the States. If you stand up for natural ingredients, eventually companies like Pepsi will listen to you, and as a result, we'll have less heart disease in the country. And that's about it. Thanks.
So, Will, what did you think?
I thought it was good. Good attention grabber. Just statistics and just like citations were good. Yeah, I think it was overall good. Pretty much.
It was good, huh?
Yeah. It's clear what he was talking about. And it was well organized as well.
Okay, well, that's better. A little more to it then. The introduction was fine. You identified the topic. You've got a good statement of what your goal is, and there's a good outline of what the supporting points are going to be. You did a good job signposting internally also. I thought you cited your information pretty well on the first point. I think you need to develop a little bit more information about the relationship between high fructose corn syrup and obesity, and this whole thing about not, the insulin effect. You've got a general quote on that, but I think we could use some more particular data. I did think that the rat experiment was a good way of getting a visualization in there that was kind of negative. Your alternatives are okay, although I'm not exactly sure that people would except that sugar is a better alternative. There are all kinds of dangers there too. I'm a little iffy about the HFCS in diet sodas. I'd have to check the labels on that. I immediately wanted to do so, and I didn't have my Coke here with me, so I couldn't do it. I'd be careful about closing off with this comment about don't allow the government to victimize you. It sounds to me very conspiratorial when you suggest that, and I think it's just one of those economic necessities. If people want to pay extra for the stuff with the good sugar in it, they can do so, and that you ought to just encourage us to do that. Say, hey, buy stuff that's got the real stuff in it. All right? Jolt Cola, twice the sugar, all the caffeine. No, it's twice the caffeine, all the sugar. That's the way they go.